What's going on YouTube and what's going on Raider Nation? This is your boy Byron Live 95, and today I'm coming at y'all with another video, and I wanted to talk about the Josh Jacobs situation. Now, we all know the news. The Raiders declined his 5th-year option, even though they declined all 3 of their 5th-year options. And it also doesn't help that we drafted a running back in the 4th round that somewhat has a similar running style to Josh Jacobs. Now, Josh Jacobs is still one of the top running backs in the NFL when he's healthy, and the question is, can he stay healthy though? Because he does get injury prone from time to time. But hopefully this video right here changes how you view Josh Jacobs. And if you guys could do me a favor and hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, I would really appreciate it. And now let's get into the video. We're going to start in the year of 2019, and as we all know, Josh Jacobs was drafted by the Oakland Raiders at the time. Josh Jacobs was already penciled in as the day 1 starter when he arrived. Now, his rookie year, he ran for 1,150 yards, scored 7 touchdowns, and was averaging a whopping 4.8 yards a carry. But let's look at that season. Let's dissect a couple of things. Now, in week 2, Josh Jacobs would injure his groin muscle against the Kansas City Chiefs. He would continue to play in the game, but going into the following week, he was limited in practice. And it wasn't just because of the groin injury that he just suffered, he would also get sick. Now, this is the year of 2019, not 2020, so it wasn't that sickness. Not going to talk about that. But he was hit with some type of illness, and the illness was so bad that he lost 10 pounds during the week. Despite losing 10 pounds, being sick, and having limited practice because of a groin as well, he would still play the following game. And there's a couple of things I want to point out about his rookie year as well. Now, week 7 against the Green Bay Packers, Josh Jacobs would run for 124 yards and would be averaging 5.9 yards a carry. Why am I pointing this game out? Josh Jacobs would injure his right shoulder. Now, we didn't have a lot of information at the time, but we just knew he injured his right shoulder, and he still had a great game, as you can see by the stat. Now, despite that injury, he would play from week 8 all the way to week 13. Why am I pointing this out? So week 8, he ran for 66 yards, averaging 4.4 yards a carry. In week 9, he would run for 120 yards, averaging 4.3 yards a carry, and scored 2 touchdowns. The following week, in week 10, he would run for 71 yards, averaging 4.4 yards a carry and a touchdown. In week 11, he would run for 112 yards, averaging 4.9 yards a carry. In week 12, he would run for 34 yards, averaging 3.4 yards. And in week 13, he would run for 104 yards, averaging 6.1 yards a carry. Why is this so important? Because it was later came out that he fractured his shoulder and was taking needle injections just so he can play. I don't care who you are, you got to be a tough SOB and still finish with a 1,000-yard season. And he was a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Oh yeah, by the way, NFL, somebody still has to explain to me how Kyler Murray won it, but then again, that'll be another subject for another day. But you saw the yards that he was averaging while playing with a hurt shoulder, and you just got to look at Josh Jacobs and be like, damn, this dude wants it. He's a dog. It doesn't even matter if he's injured. And despite all this, he only missed 3 games that year. But now let's jump into the 2020 season. Now, in his sophomore year, he ran for 1,065 rushing yards, scored 12 touchdowns, and would average 3.9 yards a carry. Now, yes, the average would go down because in his rookie year, it was 4.8, and then his sophomore year was 3.9, so the average did come down. So he took a slight step back, but not a major step, because he still finished that season with 1,000 yards rushing. But in the 16 games that he was supposed to play in, he only missed 1 game despite having the injury. Now, Josh Jacobs would have a hip injury, and he got that in week 2 against the New Orleans Saints, where he had 88 yards rushing and averaged 3.3 yards a carry. But if you look from week 1 to week 11, Josh Jacobs would run for 755 rushing yards, scored 9 touchdowns, and averaged 3.6 yards a carry. And the reason why this is important is because in week 9, he was battling with a knee injury, and he was also sick. But once again, even though he was getting banged up, the man still didn't miss any games. But in week 12, that would be another key injury for him, because Josh Jacobs would hurt his ankle against the Atlanta Falcons. And the injury was so bad that he would end up having to leave the game. Now, the one game that he did miss would be the following week versus the New York Jets. Well, heading into week 14, Coach John Gruden at the time said he wasn't very confident that Josh Jacobs would play in the next following week. And then Josh Jacobs would go and troll all of us where he said, hey, sorry guys, I'm not going to be playing today. And then he ended up playing that game against the Indianapolis Colts. But like I said, he finished that year with 1,000 yards rushing, had over 10 touchdowns. The average did take a little hit, but it's close to averaging 4 yards a carry. And the man only missed one single game. And now we're going to look at his third season in the NFL in 2021. However, it would not start off great. On January 4th, 2021, Josh Jacobs would get into a car accident at a Las Vegas airport where he was on the suspicion of drunk driving and would be brought in and would be arrested for a DUI. And this sucks because later in that year, 2021, we would have 2 more DUIs in that. But on January 11th, after an investigation was launched, Josh Jacobs would not be charged with a DUI. So that was great news on him because, like I said, he had a young, promising career, and if that he did get a DUI, it would have been really bad for him. Now, this third season wasn't the best as he only ran for 872 rushing yards, scored 9 touchdowns, and averaging 4 yards a carry. Let's look at this season in depth and you can judge from here. So he starts off the season injuries once again because before the season opener against the Baltimore Ravens, Josh Jacobs had a toe injury and he would play in that week 1 game, but you can tell that he was injured and he would get brought out on certain plays. You could see the dog in him though, trying to complete the game. Now the toe injury would be so bad that he would end up missing the next 2 games. But here's the stat that blows me away. Like, we always talk about how he is injury prone, that Josh Jacobs gets injured a lot. If you look at that season, Josh Jacobs played 17 of the 19 games for the Raiders. So yeah, you look at all the injuries that happened, but he only missed 2 games. And you know what's the crazy part about that? Yes, he had toe and ankle injuries as well. But if you go to week 7 against the Philadelphia Eagles in the second quarter, Josh Jacobs would end up injuring his chest, and he would then be ruled out for the rest of the game. Now, luckily, the Raiders had a bye week in week 8, but week 9 comes around, Josh Jacobs isn't even on the injury report, and he goes to play against the New York Giants the following week, and he continues to play. Despite in week 17 against the Indianapolis Colts, he ends up injuring his rib. So you look at it all like this: DUI at the beginning of the year, toe injury, ankle injury, injures his chest, and now he has to deal with rib issues against the Los Angeles Chargers in week 18, where that dude helped us out tremendously. The way Josh Jacobs was running and helped us, and you could see that the man was in pain. His wrists probably were on fire, but we knew this was a do or die game for us to go to the playoffs, and Josh Jacobs was a huge part in that. He also played very well in that playoff game, but he didn't get a lot of touches. He averaged over 6 yards a carry. And yes, I get it, running back isn't a glorified position as it once was. Now, I know we like to talk about the injury prone stuff and he's always getting injured, but you know what blew me away? There were 35 games that Josh Jacobs was supposed to play in. And do you know how many games he's played in out of those 35? 29. So this man in his whole NFL career has only missed 6 games. So yes, we talk about all the injuries, the illnesses, but yet this man has played in 82% of his game. And I know it's a tough subject because do you sign somebody long-term that has these injury issues? And I understand the front office side. You have to look at things and be like, hey man, he keeps getting injured. Do you want to sign him long-term? And also, you know another stat that blew me away? In his entire NFL career has had 15 games that he's gotten 20 plus carries in the game. And did you guys know in those 15 games, 12 of those games we end up winning? But I would love to hear your guys' comments down below. How do you guys feel about Josh Jacobs? Yes, the running back position isn't what it used to be, and yes, we know you don't sign running backs long term anymore, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, man. So anyways, Raider Nation, let me know if this video right here changed how you view Josh Jacobs. This is your boy Byron Live 95, and I will see you guys in the next video.